China's rise isn't just subsidies and tech theft. It's a durable production machine built on deep infrastructure. In their article, The Real China Model, in this past, September, October of 2025, Foreign Affairs, authors Wang and Kroeber argue that China has assembled an all-of-the-above technology strategy powered by abundant electricity and digital networks, plus a vast workforce with advanced process know-how. That ecosystem lets China develop new technologies and scale them faster than anyone else, making its industrial and technological strength a lasting feature of the world economy. Simply trying to slow China down won't actually work, and the United States must rebuild its own foundations. So, a bit of a disclaimer, these are the author's opinion. Those authors, Wang, are a research fellow at Stanford University, and then Arthur Kroeber is founder of the Gavcal Dragonomics and author of China's Economy, What Everyone Needs to Know. So that being said, what exactly is China's real model? So it's not a perfect master plan. It's pragmatic state capacity focused on plumbing of modern industry. Cheap, reliable power, high bandwidth digital infrastructure, dense iterative manufacturing, and entrepreneurial zeal that can pivot whole supply chains on short notice. Together, these elements create resilience and speed. Firms can experiment, iterate, and then go to mass production at astonishing pace. The U.S., by contrast, has leaned on export controls, tariffs, and scattershot industrial policy rather than building its own deep infrastructure. The author's core lesson is to stop underestimating China's competence and start building it at home. So first, in the energy front. So China's electrification has surged, growing about 6% a year versus 2.6% globally and 0.6% in the U.S. It didn't start as grand strategy. It grew out of technocratic fixes to real bottlenecks. Beijing treats cheap, abundant electricity as a strategic edge, especially for power-hungry sectors like AI, and works to keep the world's largest, most capable grid expanding. Secondly, is people and process. So China's 70 million plus industrial workforce has accumulated decades of process knowledge, hands-on experience about how to make things better, faster, and at scale. That tacit know-how underpins iterative innovation and the ability to spin up entirely new industries, moving, for example, from assembling smartphones one day to producing drones or EV batteries with remarkable speed. Outsiders often mistake this advantage as low-cost labor, but in reality, it's sophistication, scale, and speed. So third is their entrepreneurs. So the ecosystem rewards audacity. I'm going to mispronounce this, but I think it's Zomies. The founder, Li Jun, bet $10 billion to enter EVs in 2021. And basically this accumulated in, the Green Hell, the Nuremberg racetrack, the 13-mile course in Western Germany. Basically, they built the third fastest ever recorded car on that track, and it's an electric vehicle from them, is basically where they're getting at. So with that being said, within a few years, the company was producing high-performance vehicles like the one on the track, plugging into batteries, electronics, and skilled labor that already existed. So Apple, by contrast, explored EVs for a decade but lacked the domestic energy and manufacturing base to scale it. Its board killed the project in 2024. Meanwhile, Tesla's sales have slumped in top markets as Chinese buyers shift to faster-moving domestic brands. Fourth, they're not invincible, but they're very resilient. So China's industrial policy has also financed wasteful state firms, piled on debt, and chilled private sector confidence by tightening political control over leading entrepreneurs. Growth has slowed, and deflation pressures are real. Yet the authors judge these problems are insufficient to actually derail China's tech momentum because of the deep infrastructure ecosystem that it keeps delivering. Fifth, the U.S. response so far. So Washington tried CHIPS and the Inflation Reduction Act to reshore semiconductors and subsidize clean tech, but progress has been uneven. Internet buildouts and EV charging networks lag. permitting choke points, so basically choke points in the regulatory framework, stymied transmission lines, and policy reversals and tariff shocks add uncertainty. Manufacturers rely on imported inputs and hesitate to invest amid whiplash, contributing to job losses even as grand plans are announced. Sixth, so basically where the U.S. still leads and what to fix. So America retains advantages in software, biotech, AI, and university-driven innovation, but cuts to scientific funding, hostility to immigration, and political attacks on universities threaten that edge. The author's prescription is to stop sending lawyers into an engineering fight, build deep infrastructure, especially a bigger, better electricity system, basically the grid, more storage and high voltage transmission while cutting costs in capital intensive sectors so investment can flow. For conclusion, so the takeaway today, is China's real model is capability compounding, so power, networks, factories, and people arranged to move from idea to industrial scale with speed. That system isn't going away. For the United States, the winning play is not to throttle China, but to rebuild at home, invest patiently in energy, information, and transport infrastructure, reinforce research and talent, and make U.S. markets attractive for modern, capital-intensive manufacturing. Otherwise, expect further deindustrialization and lost technological leadership. Again, this is basically a summary of the author's opinion in this past Foreign Affairs, of which the article is The Real China Model, Beijing's Enduring Formula for Wealth and Power. And with that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.